Okay, so welcome back, Elaine. Nice to see you again to the Lingo Zoom room for another live session. We're going to, as usual, have a look at our quote for today with the related teaching. And that will lead us nicely into today's workbook lesson. So, without further ado, let's share my screen a little bit bigger. Okay. And all right, so there's the, you see the screen?
Yes.
You can read that,
Quote,
that quote, a lovely, simple quote today.
Joy is the simplest form of gratitude.
Joy is the simplest form of gratitude, yeah. Karl Barth, which is a Swiss theologian, who interestingly wrote something called the Barmen Declaration in 1934. It rejected the subservience of the German churches to the ideology of the Nazi government of the time. So saying, we're not just going to fall into line with this really, evil, dark system. We must, stay true to the principles. The Nazism and Christianity did not reconcile in any way, shape, or form. So, very simple formula to rise above the seemingly vexatious issues like that one at that time that often face us in this world, and experience joy consistently in your daily life. So be grateful for whatever arises in the present moment, and you will often feel an uplifting emotion. It can be called joy, which, as Karl Barth points out, is an expression of gratitude. So practice giving thanks for every experience you have today, even the challenging ones. You'll be giving yourself every opportunity to experience joy. And this is the abundant life we talked about a couple of days ago. I shared the same quote. Joy, peace, love, experiencing these things in your life is the abundant life that Yeshua talked about in his teachings 2,000 years ago. He was actually human for a while. He was pointing us to the eternal. So if you want to read that quote from the Gospel of John.
Yeah. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy, but I have come so that I may have so that I may have life and may have it abundantly.
No, I've come so that they may have life and may have it abundantly. So saying, I've come to bring this new awareness into the world so that people may have life. He's referring to eternal life, and may have it abundantly. So the reflection of eternal life, an experience of life. So things are happy, things are joyful, there's peace, even if there's challenges, it doesn't matter. Your inner state is abundant. And that's what he refers to. It has nothing to do with material wealth, as we discussed a couple of days ago. So if you can feel grateful for whatever's going on in your life, whatever's seemingly happening, then you have the key to abundance, don't you? Because you've got this gratitude. With gratitude comes a peace, comes happiness, underlying acceptance of what is. So that's the way that you really activate this abundance of life is through gratitude. I've given you a video here which you can watch. This is Eckhart Tolle's conception of 3 levels of conscious doing, he calls it, which he explains quite well in that 14-minute video. In the base level, there's acceptance, which really means letting go. Acceptance means I'm not resisting what is happening now. I've let go of my resistance and I'm able just to respond appropriately in the moment to it. Which is very helpful. So there's acceptance on the base level, a foundational level of peace, no matter what, as really the foundation. You can't be conscious and be aware unless you're at least at that level. And then that can lead the way to a higher state. The second level is a state of joy. Okay, so actually enjoying this. I'm in joy, in the sense of a very positive. Joy is a very positive emotion. I'm enjoying it. We know what it feels like. It's difficult to quantify, but yeah, I'm really loving this. I'm enjoying this process. It's not just about the outcome. It's about the process of achieving it. And then at the top level of this conception is enthusiasm. So if you've got joy going on and you've got a base level of acceptance and joy in your activity, that's already a very high state. But you might just add some kind of a goal. For instance, you're climbing a mountain, you go, well, I'm happy, you know, I love mountaineering. I love the fresh air. I love the process of climbing and figuring it out. When I get to the top, I'm going to see this extraordinary view. So I have this little incentive to get to the top. And enthusiasm comes in. Oh, okay. So while not going out of the now, I'm still enjoying it. There's the added sense of a vision or a mission or a purpose that goes along with this. It's not just random. Does that make sense?
It does.
So 3 levels, starting with the base level, which we can all do, is acceptance, which happens when you let go of your resistance. If there's any grievance, any resentment, any resistance whatsoever to anything, that's the cue to let it go. So it's the single skill that we need to learn to really let go and experience true happiness and peace and joy. So in his book, he talks about the new earth. He talks about this relationship between gratitude for whatever's happening. So that's acceptance. And then joy, first 2 levels of a hierarchy of conscious doing. Acceptance is the foundation, feeling gratitude. And gratitude paves the way to an active sense of enjoyment. You can start enjoying the people, circumstances, places, events, knowing that none of it's permanent. It comes and it goes, but underlying it is a sense of joy in your being, and that's what makes it worthwhile. In the flow state in positive psychology, and then at the top level, you've got enthusiasm, which literally means God in you in Greek. Describes a state in which we feel genuinely inspired by some worthy purpose that serves the highest good of awakening yourself and others to an awareness of their true So acceptance, enjoyment, and then gratitude for all of that paves the way to enthusiasm, which is the top, which has an element, just a hint of some kind of a purpose, a higher purpose, a mission, a vision. Without losing the now, is that, for instance, this course, you say, well, this course is going to take me back to at one to being back in heaven with God. And I'm very enthusiastic about that, literally. God is in me now. So Joseph Campbell, I guess you missed the last few emails, formulated the Hero's Journey monomyth. So his Hero's Journey, based on his research into many seemingly different religions, philosophies, and spiritual paths, he called this following your bliss. When you're in enthusiasm, joy and enthusiasm is your bliss. I recommended a movie which is definitely worth watching, called Bliss. It's got some great metaphysical ideas, and then there's a commentary by David Hoffmeister, which unpacks it for you. Teach you exactly what it's about. And all of that leads us nicely into today's quote, today's mind training lesson, so technically speaking, which is lesson 217. Okay, so do you want to?
Yes.
I'm going to read that. Let's get into 217. Okay, here is lesson 217.
I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God, or perfect love, created, extends me. It can be but my gratitude I earn, or I can only earn my own gratitude. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God, or perfect love, created or extends me. And
so thoughts on the key idea?
well, it's down to us only to receive this gratitude. We can't expect it from others.
I can only earn my own gratitude. It's quite an interesting idea, the way he phrases it. I earn my own gratitude. So I'm grateful to myself when I'm right-minded, when I listen to the Holy Spirit. And so I earn my own gratitude. Because there's apparently two of us going on in here. And so, the gratitude is related now to the Holy Spirit, which will show us the way home. I can only earn my own gratitude. So I must change my mind, as we say. I can't not change my mind and expect to have anything. Gratitude is one of the most important things. It goes hand in hand with love. It's a derivative of love. But if you're grateful for something, then you have let go of any negativity. So it's the outcome of true or radical forgiveness. You do become grateful. Okay, so any thoughts on that? Otherwise, let's read the just short commentary, just a
Mhm.
couple of sentences. There's a very short commentary on that idea.
Both of them, yeah.
Yeah,
Both.
just read the original
Yeah.
and the alternative. Thanks.
Who should give thanks for my salvation but myself? And how but through salvation can I find the self to whom my thanks are due? And the other, who should give thanks for my awakening but myself? And how but through awakening can I find the self to whom my thanks are due?
What I'm saying here, there's two sentences.
Yeah. Well, only our true self can thank us for our awakening. And through the true self, this is where the thanks is due. Excuse me.
But through awakening can I find the self to whom my thanks are due. So we look at, just have a quick look at one diagram. I want the Holy Trinity. The true self is, or the Christ sits between the worlds. It's a bridge to ultimate reality. And so how but through gratitude, he says, how about through awakening can I find the self to whom my thanks are due? It's completely logical. Right? And through awakening, I start to identify more and more with my true self because I'm now connected with my source, and I realize that there's only one self. So it's the bridge. We go from our default misperceptions of time and space and the ego, and we end up identifying more and more the true self or the Christ, the one self, having true perceptions of Christ's vision.
Oh, that's true love.
And then and that takes us back home, ultimately. The more we do that, the more it strengthens our connection with our source. And the more we identify with perfect oneness. We call that state pure formless oneness of perfect love. So that helps us to actually perceive things correctly in this world and make the correct decision. This is just a recap on the Holy Trinity. So only through awakening can I find myself to whom my thanks are due. So as I awakening, it's this arrow. I move up from my default perceptions of time and space as real and myself as an actor of it. And I move up. The Holy Spirit takes me up into Christ, the true self. And from there, it's a short hop to God. Yeah, so is that clear on the Holy Trinity? And how gratitude helps. When you say I'm grateful, you're really affirming the reality of this pure formless awareness of perfect love. You're saying that's already there. I'm acknowledging it. So although, in the world of form, which is an illusion, it may not seem to be there. I'm acknowledging it's there. To my true self, which sees only that. and nothing else. So the gratitude helps us to identify more with this. If I'm grateful for something, say, I am this, I have this, I am this loving awareness. I am pure formless awareness of perfect love. I am love. We did this in our Let It Go course. I identify them with my true self, and I disidentify from the false self, the one that's going to keep us bound up in time and space, believing we're human in a physical body. Okay, so powerful lesson, gratitude. As we talked about gratitude before, it's another lesson of gratitude, and saying, this is an important component of our practice. We need to be grateful, not just for the good things, but for everything, because it's always a lesson. If something's really difficult and challenging, someone's really pushed your buttons, then feel grateful, because they are helping you to bring up the darkness to the light, become aware of it, and then let it go. Okay, so and then just read the last one. I'm not a body, I'm free.
I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. Or, I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as perfect love extends me.
Any other thoughts on that? I'm saying it now for nearly 20 days in a row.
Well, yes.
Anything else arise?
Well, occasionally I do affirm that when I'm getting myself emotional about things or stressed, that it's starting to become a bit of a default.
That's good.
So it has a little bit of an impact on that, on the stress
In
level.
some ways, this is the summary of the entire workbook. You could say, just like in the text, it's nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. That's the 3-line summary of the whole text. This could be the 3-sentence summary of the workbook.
Yeah.
I'm not a body. He's telling us the whole way through the course. Very, very clear statement of what I am and am not. I am free. Right? So I'm free of the body. I'm free of the body's limits, pointing us to the state of complete freedom. I am still as God created me. I remain as God or perfect love created or extends me. And so it is. There's no argument. That's just what I am. So it's a statement of what I'm not, a statement of what I am, and then, I am still, this goes back to our source. I'm still the extension of this perfect love, which is my source. It's acknowledging source. And so, a good summary of the whole work. So you could use this as a go-to phrase anytime. I'm not a body. I'm free. I'm still as perfect love extends me. So we practice these and practice these. So ideally, ongoing, a lot of these ideas are in our minds. All right. So any other thoughts, comments, or questions on this lesson?
No, all good. All good.
Okay. So you'd like to do a meditation on this? Let's do it, say 15-minute med, and then some text if you like.
Okay. Yeah. That's good.
Okay. So just making yourself comfortable. All right, so making yourself comfortable with your feet shoulder width apart, back straight. You cup your hands in your lap, close your eyes. Feet shoulder width apart. And to start with, you're going to take a nice and deep breath in through the nose. And again, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Clench your sphincter muscle, lock the energy in, draw the energy up the spine into your heart center. Draw it up into the crown of your head, just pausing at the top of the inhale. So it's a maximal inhale breath. Hold the breath briefly, scan your mind, notice any thoughts, emotions, state of body sensations. Breathe into all that, just creating some space, some light, some awareness in your mind, in your body, your energy system. And let's scan your mind, notice any at all negative thoughts. So negative thoughts just negate the truth of who you are, negate the oneness, the love, the peace, the joy. They negate acceptance and enthusiasm and enjoyment. It's all just by the by, goes by the wayside. And let it go. You blow it away. The breeze of your breath, imagine that these thoughts and emotions exhale, release, and say, I'm not a body, I'm free. I'm still as perfect love extends me right now. And so I earn my own gratitude right now. By affirming this, by practicing like this, I earn my own gratitude. So I'm grateful. And as I am grateful for my blessings, I can't help but experience more blessings. I only earn my own gratitude. Breathe in again. And then just listen to these words, repeat them after me as you breathe in, hold the breath. So you listen to me speaking, and then when I stop in the pause between sentences, you speak the sentence. So breathing in, and just sphincter muscle to lock the energy in, draw the energy up your spine into your heart center, imagine you filling up. Maximal inhale breath, and listen to these profound words. So, who should give thanks for my awakening but myself? And then just exhale in the truth of that and repeat those words. Who should give thanks? who should give thanks for my awakening but myself. Exhale as you repeat those words. You should give thanks for my awakening but myself. Breathing in again. And how and I find self to whom my thanks are due. Except through awakening. Because my true self reveals itself to me when I start awakening. So it works. Know thyself is the ancient advice, temple of Apollo in Delphi, ancient Greece, and inscribed, know thyself to all who arrived there. So it's not new. One must know oneself. How can I find the self to whom my thanks are due? How can I find the self to whom my thanks are due except through awakening? Internalize the truth of that. And just blow it all out. Any resistance, any dark clouds. And then just have a sense of finding that self right now. You need to look further. It's right there. It's in your mind. In your own deepest awareness, right now. Nowhere else to go, nothing else to do, nothing else to think about. And just sinking in. Your exhales, just going deeper and deeper with each breath into just sinking inwards, blow it all out, let it all go, and just nowhere else to go, nothing else to do, else to think about. Just breathe, relax, be still, surrender to the stillness of perfect oneness. The next moments of deep silence. Just breathing in and out through your nose. The breath just take you deeper and deeper, going deeper and deeper with each breath into the still, calm, quiet state of mind. State without illusions. State in which your true self is very much active, in charge of all your perceptions. Just gently coming back from this very deep connected state into an awareness of the body and the breath, senses in the world. And on the count of 3, you're going to open your eyes. So 1, just breathing in. Noticing how the stomach rises and chest rises, and subtle flow of air into the nostrils, and you pause at the top of the inhale, just do that little mind scan, those thoughts, emotions, related body sensations going on, particularly anything that feels at all negative, limiting, contracted, constricting in any way, shape or form, and you just let it go, blow it out. Imagine you blowing it out like a dark cloud, leaving you in your body, your mind, your energy systems, going, gone. Notice how the air flows out, chest and stomach suck back in, pull the lower stomach in to the spine. And the weight of your body pressing down into the chair, your feet touching the ground. Noticing what you feeling and touching. Maybe there's a subtle taste in your mouth, smell in your nose. Notice what you're hearing, surrounding environment. Just noticing all these things from this very still, calm, and surrendered state of mind without illusions. State of mind in which only the truth is true. You know that. So just anchor the state in, set the intention to stay here for the rest of the evening and on into your week. Use today's idea, breath breaks, sent you to help you do that. So it is said, so it is done. And on the count of 3, open your eyes. So just take a moment to look around. Take a minute just to reorient yourself. Notice that this deep peace you experienced in the last 25 minutes is still very much there, even though you're looking, eyes are now open. So look at an object, notice that peace still there, close your eyes, notice the same peace. Move on to another object, open your eyes, look at it. It's the same experience, the same peace, close your eyes. Same underlying awareness of peace still there. Do that for half a dozen objects, closing your eyes, opening them as you choose. Look randomly at whatever and notice that it's the same experience. That peace, we call the peace of God that surpasses all understanding, is still there, no matter what you perceive. It shows you that that peace is always there to, irrespective of whatever you perceive with your body's eyes and physical senses, that peace remains undisturbed. So you're training your mind that peaceful awareness, loving awareness is its true awareness. That's the purpose. Stay rooted in this peace for the rest of the session. So it is said, so it is done. That brings us to the end of the meditation and the first part of the session. So shall we go into some text today?
Yeah.
All right. Just give me a moment. Some recording going on that. Okay, so today's text reading is, let's go back to Word. We're on section 5 of chapter 26, called The Little Hindrance, as the title. So we'll hear what he has to say. Yeshua has to say about the little hindrance. So paragraph 1, if you want to read that, and then in the alternative, just gate of heaven, heaven will become state of pure formless awareness.
A little
It's amazing.
hindrance can seem large indeed to those who do not understand that corrections are all the same. Excuse me. Yet teaching, that is what this course is for. This is its only purpose, for only that is all there is to learn. And I can learn it in many different ways. All learning is a help or a hindrance to the gate of the state of pure formless awareness or heaven. Nothing in between. Nothing.
We'll say to attaining the state.
Oh,
Learning
hindrance
is
to
a help, hindrance. The gate is the attainment to attaining the state.
the state of pure formless awareness or heaven. Nothing in between is possible. There are two teachers only. One point in different ways. Sorry. Two teachers only who point in different ways. And I will go along the way my chosen teacher leads. There are only two directions I can take, while time remains and choice is meaningful. For never will another road be.
I think let's put that at the beginning of the sentence. While time remains, a choice seems meaningful. There are only two directions I can take. And so like you're at a crossroads always, and there's two directions and they're opposite. They don't go in the same way, they go in opposite directions. And whenever you've got a decision to make in life, which is often daily, you're choosing which fork in the road do you take. Doesn't seem like it, but if you choose to get angry about something, you're choosing the one way. If you choose to let it go and be peaceful, you're choosing the other way.
Yeah.
And you'll never reconcile those ways. They go in opposite directions, as he says here.
For never will another road be made except the way to the state of pure formless awareness or heaven. I only choose whether to go toward the state of pure formless awareness or away to nowhere. There is nothing else to choose.
No, away from it to nowhere. Yeah, it's the road to nowhere. That's the ego story, the road to nowhere. It's quite funny. So I actually went to a couple of years ago. I was in South Africa. It was a town in the Western Cape, a little town called McGregor. So I spent a month there. When I started, that was when I ran the first Art of Letting Go course. Started it there, which John and Sue did, and Kim. So that's how you come to be here, because it was all via process of referral from them. But
was Sally one of the Sally original as well? Sally, John, and Kim.
No, Sally joined later.
So John and Kim.
Sally, yeah, John, Sue, and Sue is John's wife, who has not actively participated. She's still in the group. And Kim. So they were, three of the
originals. Yeah.
And then they referred Sue and John referred Sally, and that's how.
And then Sally referred Jackie, and then Jackie referred
Jackie. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's how you come to be here. But anyway, I digress. The point I was making is there was a road that led out of the town, that actually went nowhere. It looked promising,
No through road.
but they'd started building it, went up into the mountains, and then they obviously ran out of money or something. So it just ended.
Petered out.
It carried on. It looked promising. I thought, well, that's interesting because it looks like it's going somewhere, which is what the ego's road looks like. But you're going to end up at a dead end. You're going to have to turn around and go back. And that's kind of how the ego's road works. It looks, okay, this looks like it's going somewhere. And then off you go, and you end up at a dead end because the ego is taking you nowhere. And then you have to turn around, retrace your steps, and go all the way back, which can be time-consuming, frustrating. So, similarly, spiritually, saying don't take a road to nowhere because it's leading you nowhere, and eventually you're going to have to turn around, frustrated. There's going to be pain, there's going to be suffering, wailing, and gnashing of teeth, and then you're going to have to retrace your steps, and you have to come back and start taking the other road that you could have taken initially. So, why not just listen to me and take that road now? Take it at every opportunity. Because every time you called on to make a decision, you called on to make a choice between the road that goes to heaven, which goes somewhere, that's true, and a road that goes to nowhere. You make a choice for the ego. Where are you going? You're going nowhere. You just remain in a state of confusion, anger, upset, whatever the state is. And you're actually going nowhere. You just remain in that state, which is where the ego wants to keep you. And if you stay in that state, it's a state of confusion and mental and emotional turbulation and stress, and that wears you out, degrades the body and the mind, and eventually, you go towards death. And really, you're going nowhere. Just spun your mind into this confused state. Eventually, the body dies. Your mind is still confused, and then you come back. You come back into another body, another life, and you've gone nowhere. You're just still in your dream world, in your hallucination. You're not actually going anywhere. And so that's what he's telling us very clearly. Only two ways, two teachers, two guides, and you got to choose. And they take you in opposite directions. They are not the same. I think that's the key point. Some spiritual teachings try and fudge it. So, well, you need a bit of ego, and the ego is somehow part of God. And I once went to a sermon, and the pastor says, oh, no, the ego's okay, as long as the ego is subservient to God. This was his conception. Somehow the ego had to be, lower than God. But that's impossible. God and the ego can never agree because they completely and fundamentally disagree about everything. So how can one be subservient to another? They are opposites. They are substitutes. The one substitutes and is a complete alternative to the other. So there's no reconciliation. You must choose between these teachers and these guides. And the one will take you somewhere you really want to go, and the other one's going to lead you nowhere. That's what he's saying in essence, which is a very simple message, isn't it? Like you come to a crossroads. You don't know where to go. There's two guides. And the one guide says, follow me. No, I've got a great plan. There's lots of worldly stuff there. There's attractions. There's wine, women, and song. And, it seems attractive, but actually it's the road to nowhere. It's not leading you anywhere. That's real. Just more confusion, and chaos, and pain and suffering, and ultimately death. And then the other one says, follow me. It might be a tough journey. There's going to be times where it's going to be uncertain and you're going into the unknown, but I promise you that ultimately it's going to be so worthwhile, and that where you end up is the destination you really want to go. And along the way, you can actually have a happy dream. You can have a happy journey. That's the Holy Spirit's promise. And so we must decide between those voices. And that decision is moment by moment. Every time you think a thought, it's either coming from the ego or from the Holy Spirit. There are no neutral thoughts. I see no neutral things because I have no neutral thoughts. These are the early lessons, of course. Okay, so Nothing is ever lost. Happy was number one.
Yes,
Fairly
yeah,
clear message. Number
that's clear.
two.
Yeah. Nothing is ever lost, only time, which in the end is meaningless, for it is only a little hindrance to eternity, quite meaningless to the real teacher of the world. Yet since I do believe in it, why should I waste it going nowhere, when it can be used to reach a goal as high as learning can achieve? Think not the way, sorry, let's move this. Sorry, yeah. Think not the way to the state of pure formless awareness. Gate is difficult at all. Nothing I take with certain purpose and high resolve and happy confidence, holding my companion's hand and keeping step to the state of pure formless awareness's song is difficult to do, but it is hard indeed to wander off, alone and miserable, down a road that leads to nothing and that has no purpose.
Song of pure formless awareness. Certain purpose. I resolve and happy confidence, holding my companion's hand, step to the song of perfect love. It's difficult to do. It's hard indeed to wander off alone and miserable down a road. Leads to nothing and has no purpose. So what's he saying here in summary?
It's only a little hindrance to eternity. Well, we know that we're wasting our time going down the wrong path, even though we still do it. We don't think, we know that the state of pure formless awareness is not really difficult at all. Just taking step by step with confidence, holding our companion's hand to the song of perfect love. Oh, it's difficult to do, is it? It's not really difficult, no. But it's harder to actually wander down the wrong path because you're going to be alone, miserable, and it leads to nothing, and there's no purpose there. So you've got a choice of two roads to choose. The way to the state of pure formless awareness, or the road to nowhere.
Nowhere. Exactly. Is that really a choice? This is what he's trying to teach us. Is that really a choice? Or is it a no-brainer? I mean, who in their right mind would go nowhere? Go down a road that leads to nowhere. It may look like it's going somewhere to start with. You know, that's the illusion, but it's going nowhere. And the thing we struggle with is the sense of futility and meaninglessness and purposelessness of the ego. We've all had that sense of, well, what's the point? Why am I even doing this?
Yes.
Why am I even here? You know, why any of this? We've all had that. It's a really, innovating feeling. Like, oh, why even bother? Because actually there's no meaning, there's no purpose. What is the point? It's pointless and it's futile. And there's nothing harder than to pursue a futile course of action. With no real purpose. Okay, well, I'm doing all this stuff and I can kind of kid myself for a while. I can get temporarily motivated by ego goals.
Yeah.
But sooner or later, the meaninglessness of it and the purposelessness of it creeps in. And I can't deny that. But I'm feeling like, well, what's the point of this? It's a lot of effort because, I'm not really getting anywhere. I don't seem to be achieving very much. Keep having the same issues, the same, misery, pain, suffering, getting older, and I watch people getting older, getting sick, dying. Like, what is the point? This is the question, isn't it? What's the point of all that? It's the ultimate question. And he's saying, well, you have to be honest with yourself and just accept what he's teaching us, that there is no point. Because that's the liberation. You can accept that there's absolutely no point to the human experience and the human journey and this world we've invented, that it's all just a crazy mad idea, funny mad idea, gone completely completely out of proportion into this false world and has now replaced heaven. And there's really no point to it. Then you have a way out. Then you have a clear understanding. You say, okay, well, I don't need to accept this anymore. I can let this go and I can return home to heaven. But as long as you think it has a point, a meaning, you're trapped here, aren't you? Because you give it a meaning and then it has meaning for you. And if it has meaning, it has reality. And that meaning and that reality then trap your mind into seeking meaning and reality here in this world and denying the meaning and reality of heaven in the process. And that's why he starts off, beginning of the course, with all the lessons on meaning and purpose. Because that's the crux of it. The meaning we give this world is what he has to help us to, first of all, question, and then ultimately let go and say, well, okay, I have to accept that it is actually meaningless. And that to pursue these purposes that the ego tells me I should pursue is futile, because I'm going nowhere. It's a road that leads to nothing. It has no purpose. It's going nowhere. Why would I do that in my right mind? Why would I take one step down that road if I'm in my right mind? Because it has no purpose. So let me turn around, go the other way, and listen to the Holy Spirit, which does have a purpose, and it's a mighty purpose, to free my mind from this illusion and return me back home to, where I truly belong. That's its purpose. It's so clear, it's so simple, but it's apt to be obscured because the world is designed to obscure it. Most people have no idea that this is really what's going to do that. They have no idea that there's only one purpose and that this world is false. And to continue to pursue worldly goals is just a road to nowhere. They're not achieving anything, not going anywhere. A road that leads to nothing and that has no purpose. No ultimate purpose. Seems to have a purpose because the ego's invented many purposes. But if you really examine those, they don't withstand cross-examination either. Well, does that really stand up? Is that something eternal? Will that last? And inevitably it won't. It's not eternal. It won't last. Yeshua is saying that it has no value. The determiner of value and meaning is it permanent? Because if it's permanent, then it has meaning, it has value, and it's real. And if it's impermanent, then it's unreal. It has no value. Those are the distinctions he's helping us to make. Okay. The thoughts on that?
Very clear.
I think so. Yeah. He does say this is a very clear course. It's very unambiguous, very simple, very clear. He's not mincing his words. He's telling us straight. Why is this hard to understand? It's only hard because we're wedded to the ego and a false purpose, which goes against this one. And that's the only reason it's hard. So he has to help us to undo that resistance, all those blocks, and just accept the simple truth, which you start accepting this, it feels like death to the ego. It can feel like, well, what is the point of anything? It can be very distressing.
Yeah.
And most people don't want to face that feeling. It's like, well, no, I can't face that. So I'd rather give myself some kind of other purpose in the world that feels a bit better. And so they rush to something else. They go, well, let me fill that uncomfortable void with something else. But if you will just accept it and allow that, that emptiness to be, then you'll find a sense of peace and a sense of, great peace and happiness and joy emanate from that void, the emptiness, the stillness. And you're not trying to fill it with another false purpose. You just stay in that emptiness. And that is the whole purpose be revealed. Your true being is then revealed to you. And now you have your true purpose. Your true purpose is to connect with and ultimately unite 100% with that being, to be that being. That's the purpose. That's the only purpose of your life in this world, is to let go of your blocks to that being and accept it fully, 100%, so that you become the being and it is you and you are it, and there's no distinction, no separation between your mind and this ultimate being, which we call God, or awareness, being, awareness, pure formless awareness, and perfect love. It's all just pointers to the same ineffable presence. Okay, so questions, comments, number 2. Happy with that?
Yeah, that's clear.
And so you're saying it's really clear, much more so than before. Did you ever try and read the text before?
Yes,
really.
but yes, I have tried, but just failed. Just didn't really quite get it.
It seemed to be confusing.
Yeah,
But it's not actually, is it? It's very clear. What he says is actually a very simple message. Sometimes he says it in a convoluted way, and
yeah,
it
that's
needs a
the
bit
problem.
of,
Yes.
but actually, overall, the message is very straightforward.
Yeah.
All right, so move on to number 3. God gave his teacher, so that's going to become pure formless awareness of perfect love, gave its
Pure formless awareness of perfect love gave its remembrance of perfect love to replace the one I made, not to conflict with it.
great teacher. It's done that. That was the AI doing that. Gave its teacher to replace the one I made, not to conflict with it. Yeah. Number 2.
And what it would replace has been replaced. Time lasted only an instant in my mind, with no effect upon eternity. And so it is all time past and everything exactly as it was before the way to nothingness was made. The tiny tick of time in which the first mistake was made, and all of them within that one mistake, held also the correction for that one, and all of them that came within the first, and in that tiny instant time was gone, for that was all it ever was. What pure formless awareness of perfect love gave answer to is answered and is gone.
Yeah.
Well, perfect formless awareness is our teacher to replace the one we made. and not to conflict with it. And time only lasted in a moment in the mind and never had an effect at all on eternity. And so it's all time past and everything exactly as it was before the way to nothing, before the way to madness and nothingness was made. This tiny tick of time, was the first mistake.
Yeah, and the only mistake we ever made. So if we look at let's go back here. You see where this diagram comes from. He's saying that tiny mad idea, the thought of separation, led to the tiny instant, the tiny tick of time, he calls it, in which all of this seemed to happen. We separated, we believed in separation, we believed we were guilty for the separation, so we believed we were sinful, therefore we would be punished, false expectation of punishment appearing real, therefore the mind exploded and projected all this stuff out, created a false universe, and now we got caught up in this tiny mad idea, in this tiny tick of time, right? It's like a little bubble of reality. We call it time-space. And he's saying it's that tiny moment just continuing, that tiny instant of separation. And now you just continue in this illusion for as long as you believe in that tiny mad idea. Because that's now the founding idea. That's the source or the God of this new reality, that idea. That's what's given birth to this alternate self, alternate reality, in which all this crazy stuff that goes on in this world seems to happen. But actually, it's just a tiny tick of time. It's like a little bubble that just, you know those bubbles that you blow? You see kids and they have those, and they blow a bubble.
Oh, yes.
It's a bit like that. So we blew a bubble in our minds, we projected it all out, and that bubble has now become encompassing. We're now caught up in the bubble. We think we're individual bodies living in this bubble we call the universe. But actually it all came from one tiny mad idea that blew the bubble up into this disproportionate universe. And it's still based on that tiny mad idea and a tiny tick of time that blew up, that's now seemingly its own reality. But if you deconstruct it all, you take it back to that original thought, you can deconstruct it. So, the idea of separation was never real. So there's no time. There's no need for time anymore. There's no need for space. There's no need for a world. None of these things really exist. I can just go back to my true awareness, pure formless awareness of perfect love. Does that make sense?
It does.
And you see where now a diagram like this comes from, because he's telling us in words exactly what the diagram is demonstrating.
Yeah.
Tiny tick of time, which the first mistake was made. All of them within that one mistake. So the moment we decided to separate and we said, I want this, I desire separation, therefore I believe in it, was every error was contained in that decision. Like this, the seed of the acorn, the whole oak is there. The idea of separation inherently had all of this loaded into it, but we didn't know that at the time. And so we went, oh, that sounds good, let's go for it. And then, all of this stuff unfolded. But it was all in that original moment. So, he's saying to us, well, can you go back there, revisit this, and realize that it was just an error, just a mistake that you made that can be corrected? You don't need to believe in it anymore. And so you can return your mind back to God or love or pure formless awareness. Take your mind back there. You don't have to stay in the tiny tick of time forever. The ego tells you to do. So the ego has now created time as a replacement for eternity and says, well, this is your lot forever. Stuck in time, in a body, and it tries to get you to be content with what it offers you, this insane cycle of separation, suffering and victimhood and death. It's trying to get you to believe in that and tell you that this is reality. Yeah, so any thoughts or comments on that diagram or on paragraph 3?
No, it's clear.
Mm-hmm. A useful analogy is that bubble one. It's like tiny tick of time, one tiny mad idea, one error, and then it blows it all up from that one error into this huge projection. And now we're living in that projection with the one error. And it seems to be, very real. But, it's not. We have to go on our inner knowing. Faith is just that inner knowing. Yes, what he's saying is true. Because I remember a state before time and space was made. There is this remembrance of perfect love of the Holy Spirit in me. That helps me to find my way home. Okay, so let's move on to number 4.
Yeah. To me, who still believes I live in time, and know not it is gone. The remembrance of perfect love.
Do not know it is gone.
The remembrance of perfect love still guides me through the infinitely small, senseless maze I still perceive in time, though it has long since gone. I think I live in what is past. Each thing I look upon, I saw only for an instant, long ago, before its unreality gave way to truth. Not one illusion still remains unanswered in my mind. Uncertainty was brought to certainty so long ago that it is hard indeed to hold it to my heart, as if it were before me still.
Each thing I perceive, only for an instant. Go and only for a moment. Or its unreality gave way to truth. Yeah? What's he saying here?
Well, we still believe we live in time, and we don't know that it's already gone. But the remembrance of perfect love still guides us through this senseless maze we still perceive as time, though it has been gone a long, long time. So we think we live in what is past. And it's, we saw a thing deceiver long ago, and only for a moment before its unreality gave way to truth. So not one illusion still remains unanswered in our minds. Sorry, number 5, I don't quite, what's that trying to say?
Uncertainty was brought to certainty.
Yeah, so long ago that it's hard indeed to value it as it were still there in me. So what it's saying, we've forgotten our ancient truth. Is that what it's saying?
Uncertainty was brought to certainty so long ago. It's hard indeed to value it as if it were still with me. So this, the uncertainty of time and space was brought to truth, was corrected. So long ago. It's actually over. The dream is over, but we still seemingly caught up in it because we haven't changed our mind yet. We still think we're the dreamer in the dream, still dreaming. That makes sense?
Yes. And not such a great dream at times. Yeah.
Yeah, but what he's saying is, but remember, it's all over. So at any point, you think it's happening, and you see these dream figures, and things come and go and shift and change, and it can seem to be upsetting and chaotic. And then he's saying, but remember, it's all over. The dream is over.
Yeah.
Right now, it's over because your true awareness is still your true awareness.
So just relax.
This
Don't
whole
take
illusory consciousness.
Yeah, so don't
It's
take
unreal. It's over.
Yeah, it's true. It's pointless taking it seriously.
And so you just let it go and you collapse it at that moment. So, well, it's over. Time is already over. In the moment that you let go, what you do is you rise above time and space, rise above the battleground. So show in this diagram. One of these, I think. I don't know what's happening here. Let's just refresh it. Timeline of consciousness. Saying we the moment you go, no, this isn't really happening, this isn't real. And you're willing to really accept that, believe it, know it, then you just go out of time. You go back home that moment. You see? So in that moment, then time is over. Because you just denied it. You denied whatever the event is, and you restore your mind into its true awareness. So you rise above the battleground. And forgiveness is really the art of letting go. It's just doing that repeatedly. So every time something happens and the ego wants to root you down onto the timeline and make the tiny tick of time real, the tiny tick of time in which you apparently separated and had this crazy idea, real through now your misperception of this event, you have a choice. You can say, no, I can rise above this. I don't have to do this. And in that moment, when you go back here, you collapse time and space because you're going back to your original state and you're really denying that anything ever happened, to deny this sort of. that make sense?
Yes.
To me, just read it again from the top. I want to make sure.
To me,
the
who still
translation.
believes I live in time and do not know it is gone, the remembrance of perfect love still guides me through the infinitely small and senseless maze I still perceive in time, though it has been gone for a long time. I think I live in what is past. I saw each thing I perceived long ago, and only for a moment before its unreality gave way to truth. Not one illusion still remains unanswered in my mind. Uncertainty was brought to certainty so long ago that it's hard indeed to value it as if it were still with me.
So it does just act as if, act as if the illusion's over, because it is over, in truth. And the more you affirm that, you go into the state, the more the state starts to become your default state, and less real all this becomes. Okay. Right, indeed. It is. It'll be difficult instead of more. It is. Difficult indeed to value it as if it was still with me. Okay, happy to move on to number 5.
Yes. The tiny instant I would keep my eternal passed away in the state of pure formless awareness, too soon for anything to notice it had come. What disappeared too quickly to affect the simple knowledge of the extension of pure formless awareness of perfect love can hardly still be there. For me to choose to be my teacher. Only in the past, an ancient past, too short to make a world in answer to extension, did this world appear to rise, so very long ago, for such tiny interval of time, that not one note in the state of pure formless awareness's song was missed. Yet in each unletting go act or thought, in every judgment, in all belief in sin, is that one instant still called back, as if it could be made again in time. I keep an ancient memory before my eyes, and he who lives in memories alone is unaware of where he is.
Yeah, so let's just go, just make it back to the beginning, tiny moment, keep this tiny moment I, to keep and make eternal, passed away, state of pure formless awareness. Too soon for anything to notice it had come. So it's saying, you see how the idea of something arises and then it passes away. So it's so crucial. Okay, it arises, passes away, I let it go. But that's what we training our minds to do whenever we let go. And just as this tiny moment of time and everything in it just as arose, and actually nothing was really disturbed, nothing noticed, and you just let it go. And each decision you make is a little miniature of that. You either attach to it and you make it real, or you go, no, it's just this tiny That idea that's not real, that you can just let it go. Yeah. So, this tiny moment I want to keep and make eternal past away in the state of pure formless awareness, passed away in heaven too soon for anything to notice it come. Too soon for anything, anyone. What disappeared too quickly to affect the simple knowledge of the extension of perfect love can hardly still be there for me to choose to be my teacher. Fair enough. Only in the past, let's just change the punctuation. Some of this American punctuation is weird. See that? They had a comma and then they had two dashes and no spaces. I'm like, what? What is that? The American punctuation, but like no spaces. Only in the past, an ancient past, dash, too short to make a world in answer to extension. Did this world appear to rise? Did this world appear to arise? So very long ago, such a tiny interval of time, that not one note in the state of pure formless awareness is song missed. What a perfect love song. And in each act of thought, in each unforgiving act is the original. So in each unforgiving act or thought, in every judgment and in all belief in sin, is that one instance still called back. And in each act or thought, every judgment and in all belief in sin, that I do not let go. This one instant is recalled. As if it could be made again in time. Keep an ancient memory before my eyes, and he who lives in memories alone is unaware of where he is. One moment. So every time we judge with the ego, we don't let go. This one moment, this horrible moment, that moment, separation was awful, is recalled and relived. I think is recalled, and even let's say is recalled each act of thought and every judgment or belief in sin that I do not let go. That in each belief, not let go of. This one moment is recalled and relived. So you relive this horrifying moment over and over and over again. It's like a recurring nightmare, as if it could be made again in time. Keep an ancient memory before my eyes. Keep an ancient memory in my mind. And anyone ancient memory alive in my mind. And anyone who lives in memories alone is unaware of where they are. Okay, so just read that from the top again, Lynn, please.
Yeah. The tiny moment I want to keep and make eternal passed away in the state of pure formless awareness, too soon for anything to notice it, had come. What disappeared too quickly to affect the simple knowledge of the extension of perfect love can still be there for me to choose to be my teacher. Only in the past. Can hardly
still be there. So it can hardly still be there.
Oh, can hardly still be there for me to choose to be my teacher. Only in the past, an ancient past, too short to make a world in answer to extension, did this world appear to arise. So very long ago, for such a tiny interval of time that not did this world arise. Where am I? So very long ago, for such a time.
Just go back to number 3. I'll just change extension to being. So only in the past.
Only in the past, an ancient past, too short to make a world in answer to being, did this world appear to arise.
What was it there? Let's just fix this. Only, I don't think we need to say only in an ancient past, too short did this world appear to arise. So very long ago. So very long ago. Elaine, still there?
Yeah, sorry.
So very long ago, for such a tiny interval of time.
Yeah, so very long ago, for such a tiny interval of time, that not one note in perfect love's song was missed. Yet in each act or thought, in every judgment, and in all my belief in sin that I do not let go of, this one moment is recalled and relived, as if it could be made again in time. I keep an ancient memory alive in my mind, and anyone who lives in memories alone is unaware of where they are.
Call and relive this one moment, as if it could be made again in time. So this is what we're doing over and over. So we got caught up in this tiny mad idea, and we keep on going in the insanity. We keep recalling it and then listening to it, and call and relive this one moment as if it could be made again in time. I keep an ancient memory alive in my mind. So I keep an ancient memory alive in my mind.
So ancient memory meaning the truth.
No,
Oh, you mean
the ancient memory is the illusion.
Oh yeah, right.
Ancient memory is the illusion of the memory of the split in the mind and this tiny tick of time, the insanity this way. And so it's this ancient memory of something that never really happened. And I keep it alive in my mind, and I keep it current and active in my mind by the way I interpret the world I see. Anyone who lives in memories alone is unaware of where they are. Okay, so what's he saying here? Summary?
Well, we're just still stuck in this ancient memory going over and over. And some people are just unaware of where they are. When all we need is, just to get back to the state of pure formless awareness. So it's all about this tiny moment that we're trying to keep.
And relive it, recall it, relive it over and over and over again. But it's not a pleasant moment. It's a horrible moment. It's the moment that your peace was shattered and she thought you were suddenly guilty and condemned. She had to run away and hide from a vengeance that was going to kill you. I mean, it's a horrific moment, isn't it?
Yes.
But every time we believe in the ego, that moment is recalled and relived. And it's like it's a stuck record. We're just playing the same moment over and over and over again in our lives.
Yeah.
In multiple different situations. It seems to be, very different situations, but it's the same moment, the same decision, and the same awful moment repeated over and over and over again. Okay, so as he's saying, that's crazy. It's insanity. You don't want to do this. And then he gives us the remedy for this insanity again, which is letting go. We read number 6.
Just needs to be lifted up a little bit. Yeah. Letting go is the great release from time. It is the key to learning that the past is over. Madness speaks no more. There is no other teacher and no other way. For what has been undone no longer is. And who can stand upon a distant shore and dream himself across an ocean to place and time that have long since gone by? How real a hindrance can this dream be to where he really is? For this is fact and does not change whatever dreams he has. Yet can he still imagine he is elsewhere and in another time? In the extreme, he can delude himself that this is true and pass from mere imagining, belief into madness, quite convinced that where he would prefer to be, he is.
Yeah, I can still imagine. Elsewhere. And in another time. extreme, they can delude themselves that this is true and pass from imagining into belief and into madness. Imagining into belief and madness. Quite convinced that where they would prefer to be, that's he is, or where they would prefer to be, where they are. So this is the ego's madness. What's he saying here?
Well, it's just delusion. They're deluding themselves. So they believe they're just going into the belief in madness, and they're convinced that where they would prefer to be in madness. So they're just obviously deluded.
Yeah, so we believe in this madness from mere imagining into belief in madness, let's say, into belief in madness, quite convinced that where they would prefer to be, that they would prefer to be where they are. So the ego says, no, this is home, this is where you want to be, even though it's mad. And there's all this, the huge downsides to this reality. Yeah, we don't have to go into the sickness, suffering, aging, death. These are not things anyone would consciously choose, but we do choose them when we choose to believe in this world. There's highlighting our insanity here. Just read it from the top, if you don't mind. I just want to check it's all good.
Yeah, letting go is the great release from time. It is the key to learning that the past is over. Madness speaks no more. There is no other teacher and no other way, for what has been undone no longer exists. And who stand upon a distant shore and dream himself across an ocean to a place and time that have long since passed away. How real a hindrance can this dream be to where anyone really is? For this is fact and does not change whatever dreams they have. Yet they can still imagine they are elsewhere and in another time. In the extreme, they can delude themselves that this is a true and pass from where imaginings into belief in madness, quite convinced that they would prefer to be where they are.
Yeah. So if you believe in this world, then you're totally confused. And you think you're here and you think this is what you want, but you're confused. You don't really want this. And you can kid yourself all you like, but you will never want this world because it's not your home. How can you want what's actually false? Nevertheless, most people in this world believe in madness. He's describing the general state of consciousness in this world. Everyone has deluded themselves into believing in madness and that this is home. This is where they would prefer to be. In a world of scarcity, loss, suffering, and death. Really? You want that instead of eternal life, perfect happiness, joy, love, peace for all eternity? It's self-evident. It's not a good choice. Okay, so move on to number 7.
Is this a hindrance to the place whereupon I stand? Is any echo from the past that I may hear a fact in what is there to hear where I am now? And how much can my own illusions about time and place affect change in where I really am?
Let's just go through that. So is this a hindrance to the place in which I stand? Let's say, is this really a hindrance to the instead of place, I'm going to say state. Is this really a hindrance to the state in which he rests? Really a hindrance to the state in which I rest? It's not. There's any echo from the past that I may hear. How much can my own illusions, the echo from the past that I may hear, affect what is there to hear where I am now? Is any echo from the past that he may hear, I may hear, fact in what is there to hear where he is now, right? I may hear a fact in I may hear a fact what's really a fact, and what I hear where I am now, where I think I'm trying to think I am. Fact in what I hear where I think I am now. So these echoes from the past, I think I'm in this world, I think I'm here, but are these echoes from the past, my past thoughts, conditioning, programming? Is this really real? Is it really a fact? How much can my own illusions about time and place affect a change in where I really am? Can my own illusions of time they're saying what's he saying here in the short paragraph?
Well, we're just stuck in the past. And stuck in these illusions.
Can it really, can this really be a hindrance? Is this really, is this belief in the past and what's not real? Can this really be a hindrance to the state in which I rest? Can this really be a hindrance to pure formless awareness in other words? Is any echo from the past that I seem to hear really a fact? And what I seem to hear, any echo from the past, and let's just say that I hear also seem to, really a fact in what I seem to hear, or I think I am now. Okay, see what he's saying? How much can my own illusions about time and place affect the change from where I already am?
It's taking over where we really are all this time in the illusions.
Time
In
and
the
place
past.
really affect a change, really make it change, really change, really change. How much can my own illusions about time and place really change? Where I truly am. Let's read that from the top. From the alternative.
Is this really a hindrance to the state in which I rest? Is any echo from the past that I hear really a fact in what I seem to hear, where I think I am now? And how much can my own illusions about time and place really change where I truly am?
So all really good questions. See, he uses questioning a lot. He has to really question. So, well, really, how can this actually be? How can the ego be so big and bad and seemingly powerful? If these, in the face of the truth. So, the questions that really make us pause and consider again. One of his key teaching principles. He asks questions. Okay, so it can't really actually do anything. That's the sum total of number 7. It can't really do anything even though you think it can. Okay, unforgiven is a voice. The unlet go. The unreleased, maybe. Unforgiven is unreleased. Okay, we'll read number 8.
The unreleased is a voice that calls from out a past forevermore gone by, and everything that points to it as real is only a wish that what is gone could be made real again, and seen as here and now, in a place of what is really now and here. Is this a hindrance to the truth? The past is gone and cannot be returned to me. And do I want that fearful instant kept when the state of pure formless awareness seemed to disappear, and pure formless awareness of perfect love was feared and made a symbol of my hate?
Let's go back. So unreleased is a voice that called out from the past forever gone by, forever over, maybe you should say. The past. Past that is forever over. Everything that points to it is real. It's only a wish that what is gone could be made real again. Perceived as here and now. Place of what is really now and here. Okay. Is this a hindrance to the truth that the past is gone and cannot be returned to me? Do I want that fearful moment kept when the state of pure formless awareness seemed to disappear, and pure formless awareness, the perfect love, is feared and made a symbol of my hate? And I feared, shall we say, I read it from the top.
The unreleased is a voice that calls out from past that is forever over, and everything that points to it as real is only a wish that what is gone could be made real again and perceived as here and now in place of what is really now here. Is this a hindrance to the truth that the past is gone and cannot be returned to me? And do I want that fearful moment kept when the state of pure formless awareness seemed to disappear and I feared pure formless awareness of perfect love and made it a symbol of my hate?
Mm-hmm. So what's he saying here?
Well, we're sort of this here and moment, this moment now, we're repeating things in the past when that's gone and it can't be returned to us. And we seem to be, well, we have this hate to, or we fear this pure formless awareness of perfect love. So taking us away from this moment, the real moment.
Mm. Do I want to keep? Do I want that fearful moment kept? Do I want to keep? And to keep this fearful moment. The state of pure formless awareness seemed to disappear. And I feared pure formless awareness of perfect love and made it a symbol of my hate. So again, he's questioning us and saying, do you really want to do this? Do you really want to keep this symbol of hate in your mind? Do you really want to go back to this madness, this tiny mad idea, and relive it over and over again? And by questioning, he's saying, surely the answer is obvious. That you don't want to do this. Not something that's anyone in their right mind would want to do. So, do you want to continue then? We've got another 6 paragraphs. How are you doing?
To be honest, I'm flagging a bit and I've still got to take the pets out. So could we continue next episode, if that's possible?
Yeah, well, let's just move on to another one. There's 6 paragraphs of this one. So
Yes, 6 more. So yeah, if I could, that would be better so I can sort of, take it in.
So you wanna go now?
Yes, please.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, it's very, very good, and it's very, very to the point.
Hmm.
But yes, I would prefer to do it next episode.
Yeah, well, it's, we move on to
Oh,
tomorrow.
yeah,
We
true.
move on to
I can
next
listen.
episode.
I'll listen or read the
Yeah.
summary.
Sure. Okay. All right. So I'll send it out just now. I'll finish this translation on my own and send it out and
I'll listen
you
to it
tomorrow.
tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So do it tomorrow evening session. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Okay,
6
lovely.
o'clock or
6 o'clock. Yeah, that's great. 6
when you've
o'clock.
had your dinner by then.
Oh, I think
Yes,
so.
check.
I'll try my best. Yeah. Things do happen though, but I will normally get it scheduled before that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for joining.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
I'll see you tomorrow. All right.
Right.
Thanks for that. Namaste.
Namaste.
Bye. All right. So let's get rest of this translation done. And, 6 paragraphs to go. Just give me a moment to prep this. All right. Let's get Okay, so let's finish the last 6 paragraphs of this. Number 9, alternative. Forget the time of terror has been so long ago corrected and undone. I must forget the time of terror that's been so long ago corrected and undone. Can someone understand the will of, so instead of the will of God, the pure formless awareness of perfect love? It's the will of God. It's just past and put it in present. I cannot go back. Everything that points the way in the direction of the past only sets me on a mission whose accomplishment is unreal, such as the justice of my all-loving source. As my all-loving source has ensured, must come to me. And from my own unfairness to myself as it protected me. And it has protected me from my own unfairness to myself. Cannot lose my way because there is no way, only it's. I can go nowhere except to it. There's no way except its. And I can go nowhere except to it. Okay, so I must forget the time of terror has been so long ago. Corrected has been corrected and undone so long ago. Can someone understand the pure form source of perfect love? Can it be up to me to perceive the past and put it in the present? I cannot go back. Everything that points the way points in the way, that points in the direction of the past only sets me on a mission whose accomplishment is unreal. Such as the justice my loving source of ensured must come to me. It has protected me from my own unfairness to myself. As the justice my all-loving source has ensured must come to me. It has protected me from my own unfairness to myself. It's quite profound. So I'm being unfair to myself, I victimize myself, but it's saying to me, I'm actually protected from that because I can always return to the perfect equality, perfect fairness of the Holy Spirit in my mind. I cannot lose my way because there is no way except its, and I can go nowhere except to it. So he's saying here, I can't really go anywhere except truth. I can't really go in the direction of the past, which is over. Although I can confuse and delude myself that I can. That is not a real direction. And And I can't really lose my way because there's only one way. There's only one road. The idea of all roads lead to Rome. You couldn't lose your way because all roads led there. So just follow the roads and you get there eventually. So I can go nowhere except to it in truth. Even if I think I'm going in the opposite direction, following the ego's way. Actually, I'm still going to perfect love, pure formless of perfect love, because I'm going to just have to learn some lessons on those roads, the roads to nowhere. And I'm then going to have to change my mind, correct? So I'm actually always heading in that direction. He's just asking us to do that consciously and willingly instead of resisting it. So our journey is quicker and easier and smoother. Rather than resisting it, going in the wrong direction, finding it's a road to nowhere, then having a lot of pain and suffering to recognize that fact and turn around. All right, moving on to number 10. Would God allow his son to lose his way along the road, long since the memory of time gone by? So would pure formless awareness of perfect love allow its extension to lose its way along a road long since the memory, time gone by? This course will teach me only what is now. Dreadful instant in a distant past, now perfectly corrected, is of no concern or value. Yet the dead and gone, be peacefully forgotten. So I let the dead and gone be peacefully. So I peacefully forget the dead and gone. Resurrection has come to take its place. Now I am a part of resurrection, not of death. No past illusions have the power to keep me in a place of death. A vault I entered for a moment, to be instantly restored to my source's perfect love. Now I am part of resurrection, not death. No past illusions of the power to keep me in a place of death. Vault I entered for a moment, to be instantly restored to my source's perfect love. Vault I entered for a moment, to be instantly restored to my source's perfect love. And how can I be kept in chains long since removed and gone forever from my mind? Chains of false beliefs. How can I be bound by limitations long since removed and gone forever from my mind? So what's he saying here? And nothing in the past and past illusions have the power to keep me in a place of death, and the power to keep me in this illusory world. So how can I really be confused by illusions? How can I be bound by limits long since removed and forever gone from my mind? It's an interesting question. How can I? Only in a delusion, only in illusion can I be. But if I use reason, she's using here in these questions, I see that it's not really possible. So therefore I have to let go. Any belief in these limitations go. So, Son whom God created, as free as God created it, extension in pure formless awareness of perfect love, instead of created, we'll say extends, plural, first present tense, because it's not extended, it extends right now. Extension whom extension in pure form source perfect love extends is as free as it. Extends me. I was reborn the instant moment I chose to die instead of live. I'll not let go of myself now because I made an error in the past. A pure formless awareness of perfect love. Does not remember. It is not there. I'm shifting back and forth between the past and present. Sometimes the past seems real as if it were the present. Voices from the past are heard and they are doubted. Present tense on here. Voices from the past. And then help them. I'm like to no one who still hallucinates, but lacks conviction in what I perceive. Like to one who still hallucinates. I am like someone still hallucinates but lacks conviction in what I perceive. This is the borderland between the worlds, bridge between the past and present. Yeah, the shadow of the past remains, but still the present. Pure formless awareness is dimly recognized. Recognize a present pure formless awareness. It is seen. Its pure formless awareness can never be forgotten. Pure formless can never be forgotten. I can never forget. Pure formless awareness. Never forget this pure formless awareness once I have experienced it. Must draw me from the past into the present where I really am. Okay, so what's he saying here? Sometimes the past may seem to be real, as if it were the present, but I'm really hallucinating. Someone who still hallucinates, but lacks conviction in what I perceive. There's a borderline between the worlds. Talks about the borderline again, the world of transition, bridge between the past and present. I still perceive the past, but I start doubting it. I lack the conviction in what I perceive, and that doubt is the borderline. It's the transition. This is the transitional state between the worlds, the bridge between. And this is the transitional state between the worlds, the bridge between the past and the present. Here the shadow of the past remains, but still I recognize the present pure formless awareness. I can never forget this pure formless awareness once I have experienced it. It must draw me from the past into the present. Draw me from the past into the present, where I really am. They're saying even though the past seems to still be there, it's an hallucination. Once I've tasted this pure formless awareness, I can never forget it. And personally, I can vouch for it. You have an experience of it, it sticks with you, you never forget it, and fundamentally changes your mind in your life. Draws me from the past into the present, where I really am. Really in the present, past can't really confuse me or prevent that or block that in any way. And so my enlightenment is a done deal. That's what he's saying. So moving on to number 12, shadow voices. Shadow voices means from the past. Shadow voices from the past. Don't change the laws of time or eternity. Come from what is past and over. Not hinder true existence of the here and now. Real world is the second part of the hallucination. Time and death are real and have existence that can be perceived. Real is the second part of my hallucination. Time and death are real. And have existence that I can perceive. This terrible illusion. Terrible illusion. Time and death, being real and being existent as denied in only the time it took for pure formlessness, perfect love, to give its answer to illusion for all time and every circumstance. And there was no more to be experienced as there. No illusion was denied in only the time it took for pure formlessness, perfect love, to give its answer to illusion for all time and every circumstance. And then it was no more to be experienced as there. No, it was not there. And it was not there to be experienced. Anymore. As the shadow voice of past do not change the laws of time or eternity that come from what is past and thereby do not hinder the true existence of the here and now. Real world is the second part of my hallucination. Time and death are real and have existence that I can perceive. This terrible illusion is denied. And only the time it took for pure form science, perfect love, to give its answer to illusion for all time and every circumstance. And then it was not there to be experienced anymore. So it's over. Time's over. Even though we have a delusion, it continues. Actually, in truth, it's over. And 13, moving on, each day and every minutes in each day and every instant that each minute holds, every day and every minute of each day and every instant. Moment that each minute holds. Each day and every minute of each day and every moment that each minute holds. So I just relive the single moment. Every moment while I'm in time and space. I relive the single moment in time of terror took the place of love. And so I die each day to love again until I cross the gap between the past and present. I die each day to love again. I cross the gap between the past each day, every minute of each day, every moment of each minute of. I just relive the single moment. Time of terror took the place of love. And so I die each day to love again until I cross the gap between the past and present, which is not a gap at all, such as each life. Seeming interval from birth to death and on to life again, a repetition of an instant. I die each day to love again until I cross the gap between past and present, which is not a gap at all, such as each life, seeming interval from birth to death and on to life again, repetition of a moment gone by. It's over long ago, cannot be relived. All of time is just a mad belief that what is over is still here and now. And it's giving us a picture of madness, saying every moment we relive this tiny mad idea of separation. The timeline, and moment by moment, there's various choices to be made, but we just relive in each moment, even the ego's interpretation of events, psychological, emotional attachments. We relive that tiny tick of time, a moment of separation, and that just confirms that we are separate, we're a victim, we suffer, we die. We can go from birth to death and then on to another life. So we're talking about here as reincarnation. Across the gap between the past and life, such as each life, seeming interval from birth to death and on to life again, on to another life. We just got caught in this moment. We relive this moment, tiny moment of terror when we departed from pure forms, so awareness, perfect love, over and over. Whenever you react to whatever goes on in this, you relive that moment of separation, which is a horrible moment. So it feels awful. All of time is just mad belief. What is over? And now that's all time is. We still believe that it's going on, that something really happening here, but actually it's already over. It's the great irony. We're already free. So forgive the past and let it go if it's gone. I let go of the past, for it is gone, my stand. I let go of the past, for it is gone. Stand no longer on the ground. It lies between the worlds. I do not stand. Any longer on the ground that lies between the worlds. I've gone on, I've moved on, and reached the world that lies, the state of pure form source's gate. Reached the real world that lies. I've moved on and reached the real world that lies at the real world that leads to the state of pure formless awareness. There is no hindrance to the pure formless awareness of perfect love. And when I repeat, there's no hindrance to the pure formless awareness of perfect love, nor any need that I repeat again. A journey that was over long ago. So I don't need, in other words, to have another lifetime. I look gently on my companion. See my companion gently. See my companion. Gently. And the world in which perception of my hate has been transformed into a world of love. Eating energy was over long ago. Receive my companion gently, and the world in which perception of my hate has been transformed into a world of love. So he's saying, you're going to let go of the past. I don't stand in the ground that lies between worlds. reach the real world. The world correctly interpreted, at least the state of pure formless awareness. There's no hindrance to the pure formless awareness, perfect love. See my companion kindly. I gently perceive my companion, the world in which perception I hate and transformed to a world of love. So giving us again the opportunity to transcend, to awaken from the dream, and reminding us that that's already functioning here. Okay, so let's do the exact summary quickly. Okay, so in summary, key message, and then we're done. Mm. Again, Okay, so the executive summary is all obstacles, big or small, essentially the same. This teaching forms the essence of this course. Two directions I can take. Towards pure formless awareness. The two directions I can take towards pure formless awareness or away to nothingness. Only two directions take towards pure formless awareness. Perfect love or away from it to nothingness. Time. The fleeting hindrance. It's just a fleeting hindrance, and it's better use it to achieve. Better to use it to awaken than waste it. Elements of perfect love is the guide and illusion of time, which we have all passed mistakes during that I recognize. Looking to past memories can be blinding. And prevent me from realizing present state. Into the past. I'm blinded. To the present. not in pure formless awareness. Into the past are not in present state, pure. Pure formless awareness. And go over the past is crucial. It's me realize that past mistakes and fears are not real. Focus on the present is essential. Teachings emphasize that I should move past the illusion of time and embrace the present where pure formless awareness exists. And any time in which meaning that leads to the past is not real. And is a mere hindrance. And that goes to the past is not real, and a hindrance to my awakening. Must insist on the significance of the present moment. Uh, this section emphasizes the significance of the present moment and my true self in the list. Free from past illusions and errors. And as of the past can't alter the present reality. Free from past illusions and errors, shadows of the past can't alter this present. Every day, I strive to live in the present, dismissing the illusions of the past. It's essential to leave the past behind because it is already gone. And embrace a world that's filled with love. Essential for me to leave the past behind. To let go of the past because it is already over. Essential for me to let go of the past because it's already over and embrace the world that's filled with love and devoid of hate. Accept the real world. The real world available in the present moment. Fetch for me to let go of the past. It's already over. Instead accept the real world available in the present moment. Full of love. Full of love and devoid of hate. Which is only available now. I mean, from the top, this section emphasizes the significance of the present moment where my true self exists, free from past illusions and errors, shadows of the past, current, what's present reality. Every day I must strive to live in the present. Strive to live in the present moment, dismissing the illusions of the past. It's essential for me to let go of the past because it is already over, and instead accept the real world that's full with love, devoid of hate. This section emphasizes the significance of the present moment. True self exists, free from past illusions and errors. The shadows of the past cannot alter this present reality. Every day I must strive to live. Choose to live in the present moment, dismissing illusions of the past, dismissing my illusions. Essential for me to let go. Essential for me to let go of the past because it is already over. Instead, accept the real world is full of love and devoid of hate. Only available now. Okay, so personalized executive summary, and then just do the key message. Yeah. List. Key summary. Message section. Yes, that. All obstacles are the same, and past is over. I'm living in the present moment. Time is fleeting, and past memories blinds me to the present. I must let go of past illusions and focus on the present moment, where true awareness and love reside. Like my past illusions, focus on the present moment. Which I can experience pure, formless, yes, of perfect love. Okay, so that done. That's it. And there you go. So the key message, just to read that again, the sections of the past is over. And I'm in the present moment. Only way to escape from its anyway to escape from its limitations. Arms fleeting, into the past. Memories binds me to the present. Arms fleeting and into past memories blinds me to the present. Therefore, I must let go of my past illusions and focus on the present moment. Therefore, I must let go of my past illusions and focus on the present moment, which I can experience pure formless awareness of perfect love. Alone. And me myself from the cycle of birth, me myself from the cycle of birth and death. Me myself from time, space, space, and the cycle of birth and death. So very profound. We can free ourselves. Just need to let go of the past, let go of all the blocks, free ourselves into the present moment, and we can free ourselves entirely from all illusions, from time, space, and cycle of birth and death. This can be our last lifetime. We go home to the state of pure formless awareness, perfect love, and just rest there eternally. So very profound, and I think on that note, let's call it a night. So thank you to Elaine for joining. Good session. Hope you enjoyed that on the live stream. If you'd like to join us in these sessions, just check below. There's a link allow you to register for a live session soon. And so welcome to, if you're not already a subscriber, subscribe to the channel. And you can also receive some of the material that I showed you up front in the email by Telegram message every day. So all the links are below in the text attached to this video. Check it out and yeah, do what you feel. feel inspired to do. I hope to connect with you soon on the inside. I must stay. It was the true self in me, the very present self in me. It was that same true present self in you. Peace.